welcome back to my channel. New setup. How do you guys like it? Let me know down below. And today is going to be a pretty interesting video. We are going to create patterns in Illustrator. This is going to be pretty simple, and it's also going to be pretty easy. So for the first pattern, what we're going to do is I have an artboard already set up right here, and your artboard could be any size you want, you know, whatever you're creating, it could be any size. I did a basic 1280 by 720 just for the video. In order to make a pattern, there's a few ways you can go about doing this. So I'm going to start with a very simple pattern, and it's going to be chevron type pattern. So I'm going to choose the square tool. I'm going to hold down shift, click and drag. So we have this perfect little square. I'm going to go over here to the left toolbar, and I'm going to just take the stroke away because we don't need that. I'm going to rotate this square by clicking on a corner, dragging while holding shift down, and then releasing, and I'm going to make it into a diamond. I'm going to choose the direct selection tool, which is the white one. Click on one corner, like the bottom one, and I'm going to hold down shift. I'm going to click and press up. So here's the shape that we're going to use. I'm also going to decrease this because this is, the top toolbar can show you the dimensions of shapes, and this one is quite large. So I'm going to decrease it a little bit. That's a bit better. Okay. Now to make this look even cooler, I do already have some swatches, some palettes, some color stories already selected. You can create whatever colors you want. I'm starting with pink, so I'm going to do the background right now. I'm just going to choose the square tool because my background's a rectangle, so I'm just going to click and drag into the shape of the artboard. There we go. I'm also going to make this a darker pink. Oh, that's bright. Let's do dark. I'm going to set it behind. You can do a right click and you can arrange and then send back, as you can see right here on my screen. And let's see, you know what? My little swatches panel is not even showing up for you. Here we go. Sorry about that, guys. I finally got it. There we go. Now we're set. Okay, so now that we have our little chevron, I'm going to zoom in here. Ooh, look how fast that goes. I'm going to make this really easy. I'm going to put a little gradient on it, and that gradient is going to be, I just do a little linear gradient. Can't talk. If you don't see it under your properties panel, I have a shortcut for this. It's just G on my computer, but I want to show you how to get to it. You can go to window. It's under window, and then you can choose gradient. I have a shortcut for it where I just press G. You can also set your own shortcuts. I can do a video for you guys showcasing how to set your own shortcuts in Illustrator. But anyway, it's under window, and then you can choose gradient. I know it doesn't really show up here on my screen because my recording program doesn't let me. But go under window, go to gradient, and it'll have a pop-up window for you. I'm going to choose a linear gradient, and I'm going to choose the light pink. And for the middle, it's going to be this dark pink. And then on the other side, it's going to be light pink. And then we're going to do something cool like that. Okay, so there we are. Let's just, oh, that is not even centered. Hello. You can also edit the gradient from the properties panel, which I find so handy. So we're just going to make that in the center. There we go, by dragging over the little dot. Okay, that looks pretty cool. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this and I'm going to duplicate it. Now this is going to be a trick that I like to do. I'm going to duplicate it on a path, meaning I'm going to rotate and duplicate the shape all at the same time. So there's this like little triangle over here that's like rounded like that. On the left hand toolbar, it's called the rotate tool, so you can click that. Alt or Command click if you're on a Mac. Alt click the top, tippy top right here, press down Alt and click, and then it gives you an angle so you can rotate it. Let's just gonna see 45 degrees, press preview. We're gonna have to go further. Let's do 90. That looks like it's gonna work. Press OK. Oh. Hello, not okay. You press copy. Let me do that again. See what happens? Okay, press copy. Voila. And then you have a second one. Then you can press Control D or whatever the equivalent is on a Mac. I think it's Command D, I think. And you get this cool little star looking thing. Look at that. Woo, hello. Now, I can select all of these and then you can group them. I'm gonna group them. And then there's one specific way you can create a pattern, which I find super easy. You can just click and hold and drag it into the swatches panel, and there is your pattern. And I'll show you how this is. Let's click the background. Remember that I created the background, which is pink, and we're going to set the pattern just like so. We're just going to click that little swatch of the pattern that we just made, and bam, it pops up just like that. Now I'm also going to choose that square tool. I'm going to click, do 1280 by 720. Okay, and I'm going to set it to that dark pink. We're going to put it behind. There we go. Ooh, that looks so cool. Okay. And there you go. We have a really cool pattern. So that is one pattern done. Okay, now that we have the first pattern done, I am then going to move on to this next artboard right down here. I created 3 of them just to make it easier to kind of follow along. So for this next one, we're gonna do something a little bit more intricate, I guess. So usually with patterns, some of them have really geometric shapes, like the first one here, and then some of them have more of like an artistic feel. So we're going to attempt to do a little bit of that, and I'm just going to do a square at 1280 by 720. Yep, thank you. Rectangle, sorry, that's not a square. Otherwise it would be the same size all the way around. So that's just gonna be like the background. And I do like to do this on different layers. So that's going to be on layer 2. I am going to lock this in place by going up to Object, Lock Selection. I also created a keyboard shortcut of Control 2. You know what? I'm probably gonna end up doing a whole video on how to make your own shortcuts. So let's go ahead and start with pattern number 2. So this one's going to be more artistic. So let's see, most people like to do plants. So let's just zoom in here, and I'm going to take the spherical tool, and you know what, let's do some golden leaves. That'd be pretty cool. So I'm just clicking and dragging, and I'm going to take the direct selection tool and pull in the handles of one end, and then click the other end, and I'm just going to pull it to one side. Make it look more believable as a leaf. There we go. Excuse me. Oh my goodness. I need some water. Much better. I'm just going to then do some details here real quick, just so that it looks like a leaf. I'm going to do like a small stroke line here for the leaf, just to make it look more believable. I'm going to do a few stroke lines now that I'm thinking about it. I'm going to take that, I'm going to group it all together so it's one shape. When you group shapes together, when you select it, it selects them all together. So very easy. Should we also do acorns? You know what, acorns are kind of cute. Let's do acorns as well. Just going to do same thing I did before with the leaf, I'm going to select with the white direct selection tool, one of the points, the one at the bottom, and I'm going to pull those handles in. And then for the top point, I'm going to click and drag the handles out. There we go. And I'm going to take the sphere tool again, make pretty much the top of an acorn. Take the white direct selection tool, pull that bottom point up, make a little acorn. Again, we're gonna need a little stalk or a stem. Is it a stalk or a stem? Someone tell me. I think it's a stem. There we go. And just for believability's sake, I'm going to create a gradient here with the light and shadow of this. Perfect. All right. And I'm also going to select those and group that shape. There we go. So we have a leaf and we have an acorn. Leaves are usually not bigger than acorns, so I'm going to click and drag and make the leaf smaller by holding down Shift. I have acorn. I'm going to turn it more on its side here by clicking and dragging one of the corners here once you selected the shape, and it'll rotate it for you when you do that. Let's see, what else? How about we do another leaf? Have it go the other way by reflecting it. That would look really cool. And then instead of this being yellow, let's make, ooh, that looks cool. There we go. I already have some greens pre-selected. So now we have some leaves and an acorn. So for this, I'm going to select all three of these. I'm going to go to Object, go down to Pattern, click Make. Ooh, look how nice this looks already. Okay. A pop-up will happen and it says that this pattern has been added to the swatches panel. Any changes made while in pattern editing mode will be applied to the swatch upon exit. So you just click OK, and you have all your options, all your panel options over here. Let me just make sure that this is showcasing for you. And perfect. Okay. So here's all the options. Glad I got it there. So you can name your pattern. I'm going to name it Fall Love, I guess. You can grid it, which is what it is in right now, if I can speak. You can brick by row, which offsets it. And then you can change the width and the height of it as you go. You can size the tile to the art, or you can move tile with the art. So if I like to move the tile with the art, I like to do, you can also choose how far you want your offset to go, whether that's a half, a third. It really makes a massive difference. Half is pretty standard, but I like the third better under the option there. It just looks kind of cool. You can control the overlap. Near the bottom of the pop-up window, there is an overlap option, and it just shows you how it overlaps. So I'm going to then click Done at the top here underneath the tab that says your file name. There is a light gray tab menu right here, and I'm gonna say Done, and in the swatches panel you can see it's right here. So what I am going to do is I'm going to unlock all. I'm going to get rid of these objects I made, just delete them. Choose the background, Control C, or is it still Control in Mac? Someone let me know. Basically the equivalent to Mac on a PC, whatever your Control C is, and then Control F for paste in front. It's a nice little handy shortcut for you. And I'm going to choose the one that's on top, the background that's on top, and I'm going to click the pattern that we just made in the swatches panel called Fall Love. I called it Fall Love. Whoops. There we go. I accidentally clicked it into the stroke. And then there's your pattern. You know, it looks really cute. It looks so adorable. Okay, so I'm really happy with this. You can mess with the settings yourself and go through and see what you want. as far as the overlap, how it pairs next to each other, side by side, and all that stuff. So that is pattern number 2. That was my share. That was pattern number 2. So let's go ahead and move on to pattern number 3. Do not forget to save. Always want to save your work. I cannot stress this enough. Always save your work, especially if you don't have autosave on, because 9 times out of 10, if you forget to save your work, the program will probably crash on you and you will lose everything that you've done. And especially if you've done quite a few hours of work, it's just going to be such a headache for you. So the last way to do a pattern is going to be basically you're going to take more steps and just do it yourself. So let's go ahead and start with a new pattern here. Make sure we're on the right layer. Always do new layers. I'm going to also make a new color from my chosen color swatches. I'm going to do, let's do something nudie colored. How about that? I'm going to click the square shape tool, make a 1280 by 7020 pixel point piece. There we go. Move it into its slot. There we go. Now for this pattern, we're going to do it by ourselves basically. Let's say you want a really simple spaced out pattern, and because of how simple it is, you kind of want to just move it around like yourself, because it's supposed to be like one of those sporadic patterns. So what I'm going to do, now that this background is here, I'm going to click it and lock it under Object Lock and Locked Selection, or my keyboard shortcut is Control-2, so I'm just going to press Control-2. I'm going to do very simple line art. So I'm going to make this white by making the stroke white, because when you use the line tool, which is just like the line segment tool that's like a dash like this, it only writes in vector, so it writes utilizing the stroke, which is basically the same as using the pen tool. So I'm going to make really simple pattern here. It's just going to be some lines and dots. So I'm going to increase the stroke here, 0.03. That looks good to me. And I think expand the shape. It's very easy to do from the properties panel. Then when you click on it, you can do Object, Path, and Outline Stroke. Choose the White Direct Selection tool. You can round it out, because I personally like it a little bit rounded, so it's not so harsh. Okay, so I have that, and I'm just gonna do like a little circle. So I don't want it to be so perfect. I want it to be more of an oval shape. And I'm going to have it pointed towards the line. So there we go. Fingers are not working with me today. Okay, here we go. So it's gonna kind of be set like that. Now I'm going to take both of these and I'm going to group them together by pressing Control G, or whatever the equivalent is on a Mac, Control G. I'm going to press Control C, Control F for paste in front, and I'm going to click and drag and hold it and pull it down, and then select both of those, copy and paste in front, pull them over, and I'm going to offset them myself. And then you can take that and just keep going. The great thing you can do with this is, now that you have it set up kind of spatially how you want it, you can then go up to the top taskbar up here and you can make sure that they're all evenly spaced using the align selections. And I personally like to use the vertical distribute center selection of the align options. So I'm going to click that, and it just makes them all very equally spaced apart, going vertically. So I'm going to do that to both rows, and then you can take those rows, copy, paste in front, copy them over. So for the first 2 rows, I'm going to group them together, and then we just made a second column of 2 rows. I'm going to group those together, and we're going to copy, paste in front, copy, paste in front. This is longer doing it this way, but this is a way to do it, especially if you want to create like everything like by hand, basically, if that's the way you want to go about it. So let's see. Now that we have them all copied and they're all here, we're going to select all of them, and then we're going to do another align selection, and the align selection we're going to do is the horizontal one. So it's going to be the horizontal distribute center, and that way they're all spaced evenly apart from each other horizontally and now vertically for each individual column. And then this is the pattern that we come out with. So a little bit longer way around, but you can still accomplish it. You just have to do a few more tweaks and utilize a few more tools. But these are our 3 patterns. So we started with pink, then we went fall, and then we went very simple with the nude and white. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, go ahead and give it a like and subscribe and hit the notification bell. That way you can see more of these videos from me. I have a few more tutorials on this channel. And if you want to see me show you how to create your own keyboard shortcuts, give me a comment down below, give this video a like for that as well, and I will see you in the next one.